This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, Michael Keaton is in talks to play Batman again.
Geek boner.
We remember the career and contributions of legendary Batman writer Dennis O'Neil and director Joel Schumacher. We take a look at the new direction for the DC animated universe in the form of a new trailer for Superman Man of Tomorrow and AMC Theaters flip-flops on its mask policy. Plus a spoiler review of The King of Staten Island, the Jock and Nerd as women thanks to the FaceApp, and a whole bunch more. All in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Thursday, June 25th, 2020.
This is Norm MacDonald, and you're listening to the, hang on, I got it here. It says, the Jock and Nerd Podcast, known for their series of gay erotica found on Amazon, No? That's not that? Oh. Well, I fucked that up, I guess.
Check. Check one. All right. This is really fans out there. Let's give it up. We're talking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. We're talking, we nerded. We're spoiler alert. Oh yeah. We're talking, we nerded. We're funny, disturbing. Oh yeah. I'm talking, we nerded.
Heyo, what's up, listener? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, and welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us, the internet's favorite puppet, the king of Felty Island himself. It's an island of one. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Yes, I too have Crohn's disease.
Do you really?
I haven't shit for a week.
Yes, I bet, I buy that. I know.
I feel like a shit is coming.
Oh, boy. All right.
Maybe sooner than later.
Well, just, raise the alarms when you got to go. We'll pause. It's fine.
We'll do.
Nature. You can't stop nature. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah? Good.
Okay. I don't have Crohn's disease,
No?
nor do I have poo eyes like Mr. Pete Davidson.
Mr. Pete Davidson. No.
Whole eyes.
Look,
That's what Barstool said about him one time.
He's got raccoon eyes.
The poor guy.
They said he had it, and then Ariana Grande defended him and said he had Crohn's disease, and then I don't know if this is true or not.
That's what he said, yeah.
Barstool said, well, this isn't a symptom of Crohn's disease. But
he said it was a symptom. Look, I can relate. I have an autoimmune disorder, the vitiligo. I've got to run from the COVID wherever I go.
Butthole eyes is what they said.
The vitiligo gives me the opposite of butthole eyes. They just bulge out. No, I don't know. It just makes you white. Look, before we start the show, I want to tell you guys something exciting. I've added some functionality to the podcast listening experience here.
Oh, shit.
In the form of something called...
Smell-o-vision?
It's not... Can you smell that? Oh, shit. I thought I turned that off.
Felty-vision.
I'm sorry. Felty-vision would be great. Where it just feels like felt in your ears, like Q-tips.
That's my tongue.
That's it. It's just like Rug Boy's tongue. No, it's neither of those things. It's called podcast chapters.
Jock and Nerd.
This is nothing new. It's been around for like ever. I've just been too fucking lazy, and 5 years in, I've seen some other podcasts use it, and I thought it was very helpful and useful, and I tested it out in the last episode. So I don't know if probably nobody noticed, but if what this does is I can set markers at segment topics and at the beginning it's segments, so you can skip through topic by topic, segment by segment through the show.
You should just announce that you can skip stuff at the beginning of the show now.
Well, look, for example, some people we do spoiler movie reviews, and some people haven't seen the movie, but now it's easy to just skip past the review and get to.
How does this work?
Then all you do is you hit the next and back button in your podcast app. It works in most podcast apps. I've tested it in Apple Podcast, and I use Downcast. So you'll see little darts on the timeline, and you can skip back and forth to segments. Not only that, I can change the image that is shown in the podcast art.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
so
more work for you.
Yes, it is a little bit more work, but I kind of think it's a really nice experience, because now if we're talking about something, I could say, look at your podcast app. One caveat, unfortunately, it does not work in Spotify.
Well, that sucks. But can you do this? Can you just make it skip to whenever I talk?
I could do that. That's a lot of work there. If people want that, write in. I'll do it.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
So, look, for example, right now, listener, if you look at your podcast app, this is how you know it works. The title should say something like, now with podcast chapters, instead of the title of the show. It'll switch. And the image should be a picture of Anthony and myself as women. Yes, Anthony, can you explain, if you were in our Facebook group, you see these, Anthony? The Face app has been very trendy this week. Where did this start? Why did you do this? And why is it so disturbing?
Well, I've had the Face app, but actually it arose, I gained a new awareness of it in our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation, which you can join and be a part of all our friendly banter. Only if you answer the questions, though. We have a really strict administrator named John Bellotti Jr., robo7.com. Anyways, so this Face app, basically I saw it because it turned NFL quarterbacks or NFL players into women.
Those are amazing.
And it looked great. And I've had the Face app, so I hadn't used it in a while, and I thought it was shitty kind of when I first had it. So I pulled it back up, and then I just started playing around with different faces, and it's really fucking uncanny what it does to making men into women and women into men. It seems to have a bias, though.
Oh, yeah?
In that I think most of the time, not most of the time, but it often makes the men into women, and the men looking like women actually look pretty good.
It's amazing.
Whereas the women look going into men, I don't know what the reverse, why when it reverses, it doesn't look as good. It looks fucking real.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look.
It works
good.
better one way. The technology
Men are uglier than women, basically. That's all we.
That's what it is.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I guess when you doll up a man and make him into a woman, he looks.
So
good.
I'm looking at these pictures.
Yes. What are your first thoughts? The listener can see it.
First of all, you both look pretty cute.
Yes, we make attractive
both look
women.
like
Shit.
I would probably do both of you.
I would hit both of those lovely ladies I'm looking at right now. Yes.
But now I think that I've seen you with long hair. So I don't think it's a matter of you with long hair.
Yes.
Yeah, Imran, I've seen you with long hair. I don't think it really looked as cute as this girl did.
So
this one, that's Anthony. Looks a lot like Anthony with long hair.
Yes.
So I want Anthony to grow long hair now.
It's like
I've been playing with this
Anthony.
app.
Yeah.
And you can that picture that you guys are seeing is me kind of without makeup, maybe a little lip gloss, but you can throw on some makeup.
You can.
And I swear to God to you, I posted it in the group. I feel like I look like Jessica Alba in one of them.
What? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
You did look like Jessica Alba, and it super confused me. Let me tell you. This is very disturbing, confusing feeling.
Now, this is the rabbit hole I want to get down here. Because I tried my puppet face.
It doesn't work on Felties, unfortunately.
It doesn't work on
sorry.
Felties. So I'm like already against this app for just on the Felty principle.
You just have to wear a wig, Ruggs, and you take a picture. It's the same thing.
Yeah. But so it doesn't work for me. But like, I'm talking about like, especially now during the COVID, no one's getting out there.
Yeah.
And everyone's doing the online dating.
Yeah.
Are you afraid that people are FaceApping themselves for these dating apps?
This is a good point.
This is an amazing catfish tool. You got to be careful.
It is, because there is a paid version where you get a lot more features, and I'm not on the paid version yet, but it really can enhance how you look and make you look Hollywood or glam you up or kind of.
And then you put that up as a profile photo?
Yeah, just give you a little shadow to make your face and jawline a little more structured.
No.
Opens up your eye. I've seen what it does. It opens up your eyes if you want to look a little prettier. So yeah, you can get definitely catfish.
You got to be careful, people. Anthony, very attractive woman. I look like if Michael Jackson got chubby. So a little bit. I also
not as bad. You have not as bad a nose though.
I look like one of my fucking cousins, which is crazy.
You look good.
And then
I'm surprised. I never would ever say to you, "You look good."
Get the fuck out of here. His skin is glowing.
My skin is amazing in this. They've shaped my eyebrows. And if you darken that photo and do brown face, which of course nobody wants that, but technically I can do that because I am brown. It would look like my sister a little bit, but that's a cute. She cute though.
I would say I've played around with a lot of different faces, but especially looking at my face as a woman.
Yeah.
I look at myself and go, wow, like
this is who I want to date.
This is who I would want to. Yeah, exactly. And then people are like, are you going to start buying makeup? I'm thinking about it.
You know what's funny? You said that. Total sidebar. Have you noticed? I've noticed this thing happen. A lot of people, couples end up marrying people that look just like them. Have you noticed that? I do.
I have noticed.
Yeah, right?
I have a couple friends that are married to someone that looks like their sister.
Yes. What the fuck is this? What?
Oh, shit.
But you're attracted to someone that looks like you. I think that's just our human nature. It's very weird. Anyways, well done, Anthony. Good work with the technology.
Welcome.
Yes, let's get to the news so I can just wipe this image from my mind.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Is this a new chapter?
This would be a new chapter. Luckily, the image is flipped, and
You don't have to look at us anymore.
You don't have to look at our face. I'm going to change the image to Batman because we got a lot of huge Batman news that broke this week. Possibly the biggest thing. I really want to know what you guys think. After 31 years after Michael Keaton donning the Batman suit, he is in talks to return to play Batman again for the Flash movie.
Geek boner. Oh, shit.
This was first broken by The Wrap as a rumor, but now all the Hollywood trades have backed it up. And I
feel
think
like this is hyperbole.
I think it's a done deal because the title of the show, I just put Michael Keaton back as Batman. I'm just considering it. It happens, but
I think he might be back as Bruce Wayne.
He'll be back as
Old Bruce Wayne.
But the Bruce Wayne from the Tim Burton universe of movies.
But he's not Batman.
Well,
in costume.
He's not going to be Batman costume, but he'll think about like a Batman Beyond, like he will be a mentor. But
he's still Bruce Wayne.
He'll be Bruce Wayne.
Batman.
I mean, it's amazing from this guy to.
Well, he's back.
He's back. He's back from Batman to Birdman, back to fucking Batman to the Vulture, and like he's the Vulture and he's the Batman. So the details are this is for the Flash movie that's going to be directed by Andy Muschietti. That's gone through several dozen writers and directors, and I don't even know if this movie's happening, but they better make it now. And they're trying to do a Flashpoint kind of multiverse thing here. First of all, Anthony, are you excited? Who's excited? How excited are you? I'm excited to see him back as Bruce Wayne. It's amazing.
I like that you answered your own question.
I did.
Am I excited? This Flash movie has been in the works for so long.
I know.
That I'm not necessarily excited, but it is kind of intriguing that they're incorporating that universe.
Yes.
And I guess at this point, their whole extended universe, they don't really. They're just each movie's kind of doing what they want, and with the Flash, you can kind of already do the time travel and the alternate universes. So, hell, why not? Well, let's bring in Michael Keaton and into the Flash movie. I think by doing this has already increased any interest that was in this Flash movie because no one was talking about.
I think this is how you get people.
Is Ezra Miller going to be in
Ezra Miller
this?
Still attached to play Barry Allen, but this is how you're going to get people to see this Flash movie. Also, sources tell THR that he's there for possibly several other DC oriented films being envisioned as a role similar to Sam Jackson's Nick Fury in the MCU. Possibly leading to a Batman Beyond type movie with Batgirl, maybe even directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, shit.
Would be
interesting.
Amazing. But, Ruggs, this is clearly the DC movies now are established. I think this is smart. I feel like somebody has a plan. This is a multiverse. The Joker movie is in its own universe. This Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, like he can set it up in its own multiverse, doesn't have to fuck with anything else. And now you have Bruce Wayne joining this multiverse where the Flash lives.
I mean, it would be cool if they didn't retcon it and they had this plan from the beginning and they said, "Look, we have this character called the Flash, and he can go through all different multiverses." But I mean, this is the bridge to do that. So, okay, let's go with that shit. Let's see what happens. It might be a good idea because this way they can keep all of the toys that they have and they don't have to give anything up.
Exactly. Everything still exists in canon. Ben Affleck, Batman, they got two people playing Flash running around. They've already established this on the CW crossover.
Yeah, it's sloppy, but I mean,
but they showed
people seem to not give a shit because they watch that garbage.
No, and that crossover established Alexander Wool was in there as Knox from Batman '89. There was a Batman '89 universe. So
it just goes to show that if you just fuck up enough, like DC does with the comics,
Yes.
people will just get used to it and not expect anything to make sense and be like, all right, it's fucked up anyway. Let's do
Exactly.
it in the
They're like,
TV
whatever.
shows.
Yes.
Let's do it in the movies now. Let's fuck it up all over the place.
look, at least there's some kind of plan, and they're like, this is the direction where everything is its
They're
own
leaning
thing.
into how shitty DC is with continuity.
Because I think this is going to be the Batman that's going to be in the Justice League movies with your Gal Gadot and the Aquaman. What's his name? Jason Momoa. I don't know if the Reeves Batman would be the right Batman to throw into a Justice League movie. They're going to make a Justice League movie. Now you can have older Bruce Wayne as a mentor in a cameo or whatever.
So how does this fit in with the Pattinson?
So I think Pattinson is in his own multiverse world. So
I think he's definitely can be included. They're just probably not going to go there.
I think they'd have to pop him into the
He's
universe.
just tangentially. He's
Yeah.
part of the multiverse,
Yeah.
but they're probably not going to include him in this main kind of fun bouncing around thing where they're going to fucking probably swap stuff in and out.
There was an idea. I think Movie Bob came up with it, but the way to make the Flash movie awesome, and this is already kind of a step that way, is just bounce around all the different DC movies that were made.
Yeah, if anyone, Flash is
Because Flash is the guy that can do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go to the Christopher Reeve Superman, but bounce around all this shit.
computers.
You could do a CG one, yeah.
Easily CG. But you can have Brandon Routh come in as Superman again. Basically, this move says that all these characters exist in this DC multiverse.
He'd be carrying the torch for Reeves then, because he's in that continuity.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you could do Brandon.
You would be Brandon Routh
Routh
as the Christopher Reeve because he is.
You could even do that Birds of Prey Fox show that only Rug Boy watched.
Oh, right. You could bring in. They were in the crossover on TV. Like they had one cameo. So
bring back the guy that played Robin.
Yeah.
Burt
Ward was also walking a dog in the crossover. We saw him. He's nice and portly. But
they need to do it. If they're going to do it, they need to do it better.
And I think this is going to be a loose adaptation of Flashpoint. If you don't know the story, the Flash goes back in time, stops his mother from being murdered, and it changes everything in the present, causing Bruce Wayne actually dies. Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and we saw Thomas Wayne played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But I don't think they're doing that. They another guy confirmed that he's playing a much older Bruce Wayne from the Burtonverse. Not Thomas Wayne. There is no Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman in The Flash. I think they passed that idea. So they're just going to fuck with the Flashpoint.
I think they're just using the
idea
Flashpoint as a catalyst.
Yes, which it needs to be done to fucking clean up some of this shit. And it's very exciting. And just to see fucking Keaton there with Ezra Miller as an old, I want to see a Batman Beyond type. I want it to lead to a Batman Beyond type movie.
I feel like that they've, in the writer's room, they were all sitting there, all the suits and all the producers.
Like, what can we do?
And then this guy said this, listen, let's use the Flashpoint to just be able to do whatever we want. And they're like, no, we can't do that. Marvel's not doing that.
Yeah.
And then they just fucked up so much. They're like, hey, let's go back to that idea that you had. That was so crazy.
It's a nice counter to the MCU where all the stories are interwoven. It's one timeline. Here, everything is like just multiverse. Just fucking have fun, do whatever you want. It all exists in canon in its own little fucking pocket universe.
I mean, that's what they need to do, I think, because they tried the Marvel thing. I mean, these are all still connected.
Yeah.
But they tried the Marvel thing.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
So now, you know what? Each director, come up with a crazy idea, put it on screen, and let's see what happens.
You think they're going to be able to pull off explaining this to Joe Schmo?
That's a good question.
Schmo?
How do you make this palatable to like a general audience?
I mean, a whole generation of fans have probably never even seen Batman.
Yeah,
with Tim Burton.
It's probably
So,
Into the Spider-Verse kind of did it well and introduced the multiverse and explained it. That can be done. You just need good writing. You got to handle it well.
you're good writing.
I'm not good writing. I'm a cute girl, though. It's very disturbing.
You are. It's very weird.
Listener, let us know how excited you are for Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. Join our Facebook group. Anthony mentioned it earlier. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. It's exclusive. It's closed just for our listeners. Everyone hangs out there. A lot of fun. Or you can send us an email, show@jockandnerd.com, and we will share your comment on the air. I want to move from happy Batman news to some sad Batman news. There was two Batman-related...
Sad man news.
Sad man news. Two Batman-related creative individuals passed away this week and last week. First, last week, June 11th, rest in peace to Denny O'Neil, legendary comic book writer, passed away at 81. And this guy is largely can take credit for making DC relevant and where it is today. Ruggs, what can you tell us about Denny O'Neil? Philly.
I just remember him, the editorial page at the end of every Batman book, and him kind of responding to reader questions or having his like editorial whatever he wrote about the state of comic books or state of Batman. And I just remember that, any documentary on Batman he's in.
Yeah.
So he's always a presence. I don't know that much about him other than that.
Well, I could tell you a couple things. Anthony,
go ahead.
Do you know anything about Denny O'Neil?
Yeah, he wrote some Batman.
Yeah,
comics.
he did more than that. But so first thing was he was the guy to get Batman comics away from camp and make it more socially relevant. Him and Neil Adams added social commentary to DC Comics, something that Marvel had been doing for years.
In the 70s.
In the 70s through the 80s, yeah. And then that's how, from there, we get Frank Miller's Dark Knight. But and those stories, if you find 70s Batman comics, they're really good. They're like great detective action, dark stories. Also, they had a great run. He had a great run on Green Arrow, Green Lantern, with Neil Adams, where they dealt with a lot of social issues. He created Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul. He also wrote for Marvel. You can listen to Fat Man on Batman. They just put out like a 3-hour show with 3 separate interviews that he had him on years ago, which is really good. But the guy had a huge impact on where DC Comics went from then to now. So check out some Denny O'Neil stories. And then the other guy passed away this week, also at age 80. Filmmaker, director, Joel Schumacher. Maybe, I don't know, best known for putting nipples on the Batsuit and kind of killing the franchise.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of
Will there
other
be nipples
movies.
on his coffin? Is that the question?
Oh, my God.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, shit.
That would be hilarious, though. Thoughts on Joel Schumacher, Anthony? You know this guy.
I did.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of his films as an adult. As a kid, weren't the worst thing in the world.
Have you watched any other movies besides his Batman movies?
A Time to Kill.
Yeah,
Seen
okay.
A Time to Kill.
Yep. I was in between the two movies. Yeah.
That was. I'm looking at his movies now.
So
because I'm basically Roman Polanski.
you're our film critic.
Yeah.
So 8mm was a crazy a view on snuff films. He did Flawless, Tigerland, Phone Booth with Colin Farrell stuck in a phone booth. That wasn't bad.
Oh, I saw that one. I like that one.
Flatliners back in the day with a bunch of young Julia Roberts, Kiefer Sutherland. St. Elmo's Fire. So he had huge movies in the 80s. The Lost Boys, St. Elmo's Fire, and DC Cab, The Incredible Shrinking Woman. Kind of a wide range.
All over the place.
And one of my favorite movies, Ruggs. He directed Falling Down.
Great movie.
It's a fucking great movie. Still holds up. And The Client, also another great movie.
I remember him from Flatliners.
Yeah.
That was a early Julia Roberts film, if I believe, right?
Yep.
And let's see.
He wrote The Wiz, the screenplay for The Wiz.
He wrote The Wiz.
It's crazy.
And The Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Yeah.
And
Lost Boys.
Dying Young, which is that who's in that?
I think that's Julia Roberts also.
Roberts again.
Yeah.
So he kind of helped Julia Roberts get started.
Yep.
And Phantom of the Opera is I like musicals sometimes.
I haven't seen this Phantom of the Opera from 2004.
It's Leonidas from 300 trying to sing.
Oh shit!
It's great.
Is he good? Did they dub his voice over?
I don't remember, but I just remember it's the first he discovered that girl that plays Fiona in what's her name?
In Shameless?
Yeah.
Emmy Rossum.
Yeah, Emmy Rossum. He discovered her. So she was like no one, and she's like mini Angelina Jolie.
Seal said that because of him, that his song "Kiss from a Rose" was huge. He helped that song get big, also, which he kind of did. But look, those two Batman movies, they're fucking fun, campy. He knew they were shitty movies. He was doing what they told him, sell some toys. But the guy was quite a good director. I think looking at this,
there's a couple of classics in it. The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys is classic cinema. So it's St. Elmo's Fire.
Time to Kill, the great movie.
Yeah. Flatliners, I thought was good too.
He could do a lot of good. Keith Sutherland, 2 movies. So he kind of launched him too. So like, yeah, he was definitely a good director. For some reason, he decided to do the camp thing, thinking that the 60s, like everybody was trying to get away from.
Right.
Because
He just took it back there.
yeah, it's like what happened was this is how it went. It's like Batman started out as this very serious noir thing, and then in the 60s it was like, let's make everything for kids.
Yeah.
And they kiddied it up a lot, and they made it like, oh, like whatever and campy. And then, you know, Denny O'Neil and Frank Miller brought it back to like how back to form. And that's when he got popular again.
Yep.
I think he was silly. Batman was silly for a long time.
Yeah.
Then finally they found like what really made him work. And he just went back to that thing, and it kind of was retrograde, if you ask me.
It is weird because then Burton gives you this like gothic dark 2 movies, and then he just takes it right.
I mean,
back.
there's camp in that too.
There's camp, but
Definitely.
It's cartoony too. But like, I think that he just walked the line a little better.
yeah,
Absolutely.
You know, Burton was one to bringing the camp back, but it was just there was a darkness and there was a gloominess, and it was just so artsy. And even though this was kind of artsy too in its own way, it was kind of garish and overdone.
yeah.
So the style was in Jim Carrey, everything was over the top.
I love Jim Carrey in that movie though.
It was
He's
so over
crazy.
the top. It's a kid's movie, basically.
Yeah.
And then the George Clooney one was horrible.
I still think Batman and Robin should have been the 3rd one, and the 4th one should have been Batman Forever. Get it? Like, why would you?
Right.
How it's right there? How
Right.
do you fuck that up?
It's funny that the 4th one was called Batman and Robin, but he had already debuted in the 3rd one.
Yes.
And the 4th one was the debut of Batgirl. Yet
yeah.
it's called Batman and
Makes
Robin.
no sense.
Women would be very upset
Yes.
if this came out
That's right.
this time.
Whereas it should be Batgirl and Batman and Robin.
Right.
Well, representation.
Or
So
just call it Batgirl.
Probably the worst Batgirl I've ever seen.
yes, yeah, it's pretty bad.
What was that actress's
Alicia
name?
Silverstone.
Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah. I had a big crush on her in Clueless.
I did too. Yes, she was.
I was very excited as a kid to see her as Batgirl.
Yeah, and then disappointed.
I think that she was just the wrong person to be.
Yeah. They need to still, I mean, I hope they're still going to make a Batgirl movie. They pick a good person. I think it could be amazing. But rest in peace, Joel Schumacher, Danny O'Neil. Thanks for everything you've given us. You've given us a lot of great entertainment.
I like Forever for what it is. I just didn't like the end where they make Batman in a stupid, weird costume. Like, what is that?
The silver kind
Yeah. It
of?
was,
Oh, yeah, that's
Sell
silver.
more toys costume.
Yeah, that's the Val Kilmer one. Val Kilmer wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
He was a decent Batman.
It was decent. But at least it didn't have a credit card like in the 4th argument. Come on.
Yeah, he had the butt zipper though.
Batman. He had what?
The butt zipper.
He did have a butt zipper. Those
Which
suits
makes sense, but it's
they're so ridiculous. What? A couple more
let me unzip my
DC
butt.
news bits. There's a rumor Ryan Reynolds may return
What?
as Green Lantern for Zack Snyder's Justice League
Oh shit.
in a cameo. But Ruggs, you know who this rumor is from. I don't know how good the source is. Our everybody's favorite reviewer, Grace Randolph.
Oh,
She tweeted, now that I've heard it from a second source, it seems word is indeed getting out, so I can confirm the Snyder Cut cameo I've been teasing is indeed Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern. On one hand, that's hilarious. I would laugh. I think
I don't know. You can't really bet on her. So
yeah, it's Grace Randall.
Well, I'll comment on
Yeah,
if it's real
yeah,
or not.
yeah.
If it is actually
Yeah.
real. That Green Lantern movie is terrible.
Yes.
But Ryan Reynolds is a pretty hot actor.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they made him act in that way. Maybe it's his own acting chops, or maybe it was just a script. But I wouldn't be opposed to Ryan Reynolds giving another go to Green Lantern, as bad as that movie was. He's kind of like Hal Jordan.
He is. He's cocky,
Kind of.
confident.
Cocky,
yeah.
The reason I think that movie failed because they made, instead of making him like cocky and confident, they made him basically into Peter Parker, where he was like super doubtful
Right.
about everything he
That's
could do.
right. Yeah. But
When Hal Jordan's never like always been very willing to
yeah,
embrace
he'll jump ahead.
that responsibility and almost be kind of like Harrison Ford
Yeah.
in Indiana
Yeah.
Jones,
He-
or like a Han Solo type.
And you know
sorry.
that a lot of that character of Hal Jordan being kind of a rebel and the way he is in the Green, it comes from Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams' run on Green Lantern. They started his journey way back in the 80s or whenever that was. So
I think that'd be a decent selling point for the the Justice League.
Where would this cameo be, though? I guess, would you... Because remember that scene with Alfred, and he was like, I've been waiting. I thought you would come, and you saw a green light in his glasses. Like, was that supposed to be a lantern?
I don't know.
You could just cut in fucking Ryan Reynolds. That's probably not going to happen, but I thought it was funny. It's Grace Randolph. Rugs, has she got anything right ever? Do you know? Do you remember?
Small things.
Okay.
Not anything major.
Nothing major. More DC goodness. Did you guys watch this trailer for the new DC animated?
I did.
Okay. It's called...
Did Rugs?
Rugs, did you watch this?
Yeah.
I think he did. Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
He said he did, so you don't have to think.
But I still think he did. Wait.
I know.
you say
I
he
did.
You don't have to think. He did.
Oh, I'm glad I don't have to think. That's always great.
Lame.
So we reviewed Justice League Apocalypse War, which is kind of the end of that iteration of the DC animated universe with all the...
You're saying this isn't the end.
This is a reboot. This is what they're going to now, and clearly the animation style is different. It's setting it apart. If you notice, some of the guys have a thick black outline, the characters around things.
It's more similar to the old Justice League cartoon.
A little bit, yeah.
A little
It looks like Archer or something.
Or a little bit like Archer. It's like almost like flash cell shaded stuff.
Yeah, I don't like it.
So Ruggs doesn't like it. This is it's kind of a different interpretation where he's not Superman yet, but he's an adult and he's an intern for the Daily Planet. And Lobo's in this, and Martian Manhunter's in this, and Parasite. And then he has to become Superman, the Man of Tomorrow. This is a weird interpretation, but I know, Ruggs, what bothers you about this? What don't you like?
Everything.
Okay.
I feel like, okay, you want to do a Lobo movie? Great. Let's not do an origin with Lobo in it. That's stupid.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
I don't think he needs all these other people. Like, can't we just get a Superman movie? Like, would just focus on fucking Superman?
But do you want a Superman origin again?
This is, well, it's sort of a subtle origin. It's like a light origin. I don't know. Is it an origin? I guess
do you
it
need
is.
it? Do you need it at this point?
I don't know, but if they want to restart this universe,
don't need it. We don't need it. Number two, we don't need his origin to be intertwined with Lobo's origin, like coming into it's just a dumb. It just seems like we're doing like, let's do a cross promotion thing. We'll launch Lobo with this movie and whatever, and we'll put him in this origin movie of Superman. It just doesn't make sense. I don't think it's good.
I like seeing Lobo, but I do agree. Like I think
that some of the stuff that I saw was very retconned and completely like, instead of trying to like boil the essence down of Superman, you relaunch Superman, boil the essence down, modernize it, use what you've learned about the characters to enhance the characters. You're just doing whatever. And I just hate that. It just, to me, it always seems like so lazy and just so stupid, instead of actually like being somewhat like risk averse in a way. I don't know.
Anthony, how did this take on Superman hit you?
The animation is it was a little jarring at first, just because it looks so simplistic in comparison to what we've seen.
Yeah.
I kind of like that Superman is kind of back to being the goody two shoes type, because I know in the previous universe they started him out as kind of being this younger rebel.
Yeah.
Or not rebel, but more like...
That was the new 52
he just had a more aggressive attitude, so I like that.
That's true, yes.
I do agree. I was kind of thrown off right away when I saw Lobo. I was like, well, Lobo, what the hell? Lobo in a Superman movie as an origin is kind of strange. The Martian Manhunter thing I didn't mind so much. I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag for me as far as what they're doing. I do like the direction.
Too much, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of with Lobo and the weird alien who I don't know who the name of it, and then Martian Manhunter.
Parasite.
Is that Parasite? Okay, so then you're in origin and you're kickstarting the new universe. It seemed like they're kind of biting off a lot with the new animation. I don't know, and it's connected to the old universe. How do you know that?
No, it's not connected. This is like the new direction of these movies will all exist in this new thing.
They should have figured out a way to use this as a genesis for the new universe and kind of set things right. And I think they tried to do that with Justice League War, but they rushed it too much.
Yeah.
And that was like a soft Superman origin or whatever. But like, you tell Superman's story, and then him being a Superman, like, now affects the rest of the world, and then, you know, Batman arises, and then all the other superpowered beings start to now inhabit the world. Like, he was the first, and then all of a sudden, and that's cool. But like, you throw Lobo in there, and it just seems ridiculous. It should be like a little bit more. It just should seem more organic to how the Justice League actually formed, and all of that stuff. Like, how all these things kind of started to manifest.
I like the animation a little bit, but what you're saying reminds me of something that did it better, which you talked about last week, Superman Red Sun, that I watched this week, and they do exactly that. It's very good. It's
very good.
Yeah.
I wish there was a regular Superman movie that good.
That does that. Yes, this is an Elseworld Superman landed in Russia tale that's done better than like a straight Superman story. So I appreciate that. This will come out summer 2020. Definitely looking forward to checking this out. Switching to just a little bit of Marvel news, the Marvel Avengers video game also coming out later, September 2020, I think. And they put out a couple of more gameplay trailers and story trailers. One highlighting Kamala Khan that you can play. And
you are Kamala Khan?
I am Kamala Khan.
You're Ms. Marvel.
I am, and especially in that fucking FaceApp picture, I'm totally Ms. Marvel. But also MODOK is like the bad guy. MODOK is going to be in there. But I thought this was huge, Ruggs. Tell me if this is a big thing. You're our resident video game expert. The Avengers is going to be released on PS4 and Xbox One this September. But when PS5 and Xbox Series X comes out, people who bought it on the PS4 will be able to get it for free.
Oh, shit.
Not only that, the save files will transfer between the two versions, and you'll be able to cross-play between the two versions. So PS5 owners
crossplay is huge
can
now.
play with
I mean,
PS5.
You're seeing this in a lot of apps. They're starting to incorporate. So even Destiny is starting to do crossplay.
I mean, I think Fortnite is the biggest successful example.
Yeah, Fortnite is the one that led the charge. I think all of these like multiplayer games like Overwatch and all that shit, it's all going to crossplay. And I think you have to, because people are gaming on their phones.
Yep.
People are gaming on their PCs, and people are gaming on their things, and they're upgrading. And it's just, as I said, I told you, soon you're going to be gaming off of a hub.
Arcadia.
Yeah.
Google Arcadia.
Stadia.
Well, but is this normal for, I love the fact that you won't have to buy the game again. And I feel like nobody's ever done that before. That's amazing.
No, I think that's a great incentive to buy it.
Yeah.
Because you're not like, oh, if I fucking buy this, I have to buy it again when this new PlayStation that I know I'm going to get comes out.
So you could buy the game now on PS4, play it, and when you get the PS5, you're saved. You can start right where you left off on that and get it for free. That's amazing. Ruggs, I never got to ask you, what do you think of the Wi-Fi router that is PS5, the new kind of look it has?
It looks like a white PlayStation giving birth to a black one.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
there you go. It does, kind of.
I see the head coming out.
Yes, it's just the head.
I don't know.
It's water broke. Yeah.
I think hey, man, that is a very interesting design.
It's better than the Xbox just black box.
I don't care what my gaming system looks
I guess.
like, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. I really don't give a shit
Yeah.
about what that does. I don't give two fucks as long as it doesn't get too hot and not too loud.
I mean, I thought the sculptural, I thought it was interesting. It's like a sculptural piece that you display.
That's like an Apple thing.
Yeah,
If it looks good, then it means it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, if you're not even like at least like an iMac or something, you're using it and you're touching it and stuff.
Right.
Like you're not ever touching, you're not fucking with that thing. It's just sitting in your entertainment center.
So you could hide it. You don't even need to see it.
Yeah, you're not even going to see it.
Yeah.
Who displays their fucking? You're a douche if you do that. Unless you have like one of those cool like custom boxes that's kind of kitschy that looks like fucking R2D2 or some shit.
Yeah,
like that's fine. But I mean,
it's lovely.
Like you have a Spider-Man PlayStation where you're displaying it.
That's
proudly?
nice. It's red. It's sitting there on the shelf, but it's red with a big white spider on it. Looks great.
Yeah,
I could display it. Last thing in the news, a follow up from last week, you guys. We talked about AMC Theaters' plans to reopen in July and how, at the time, AMC Cinemark Regal had what their policy was: we are not going to force moviegoers to wear a mask when theaters open. Well, AMC, the day after they released that, completely flip-flop and now will require face masks upon reopening.
I thought of a solution to their problem.
What a flip-flop. Yes, what's the solution?
You know, like those plastic screens that they're like visors?
Oh, the face mask visor. Yes, the face visor.
If you wear one of those, you can eat.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
Watch a movie.
I fucking like that. That's not bad. I'm going to have to get some of those face visors. It will reduce. It's not, it does the same thing, I guess.
There'll be a glare.
But now Regal Cinemas also flip-flopped and are requiring masks. Cinemark, however, I think they're still holding out and not going to require masks. Anthony, is this a good move? I feel like this is a good move. It's a public health issue.
The science would say this is a good
right?
move.
Why would you just say...
As three guys here with no medical degree, that's the best I got.
Yes, we know how to stop this. Just wear a mask. So, anyways, I'm still not ready to go back. We'll see what happens if old movies can get people into the theaters first, and then we'll see. We'll see. It's coming. Okay. You know what? Speaking of movies and there's drive-ins and it's summer and it's getting hot and
my balls was hot.
Maybe your balls.
I know where you're going with this.
Maybe your balls are getting hot. You got to keep them nice and trim. Maybe you've been in quarantine and you're getting out and it's a fucking jungle down there. We can help you out, listener. Big shout out to our sponsor this month, Manscaped. Visit them at manscaped.com. They make probably the best tools for grooming body hair for men or women.
In the world, in the universe. Anthony, in the universe,
you still digging your lawnmower?
Yeah, I'm still using the lawnmower. The other day I threw on let me look at the name of it right here, the ball deodorant.
Yes,
the preserver.
Yes.
There's also, let me just pull up what I got.
Preserver.
There's the crop reviver. I used both of those.
That's
I had the preserver.
Spray on toner for your balls. It's amazing.
It's like a little cologne for your balls, but the preserver
and witch hazel.
Yeah, the preserver really works because it's basically ball deodorant. So you know how you get that like swamp ball feel after a long day?
Yeah.
Not there with the ball preserver.
And did you see, I saw on Facebook, they just released a nose trimmer called the Weed Whacker.
Oh, shit.
It's amazing. I got to get that. They're going to have to send us one of those.
You definitely have hairy
I got hair growing out of all sorts of weird places. We've talked about this. But, listener, they have the perfect package for you. In fact, it's called the Perfect Package 3.0. It comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer, which is water resistant. It's cordless. You get performance boxer briefs. You get a travel bag, and you get what Anthony just said, the crop preserver, which is deodorant, crop reviver, which is toner. And they have a subscription plan called the Peak Hygiene Plan, where you can get new replacement blades every 3 months, delivered right to your drawer. Visit manscaped.com. Use our promo code Jock and Nerd, and you will get 20% off and free shipping with that code. And look, it's a great gift for yourself, for your man. We've been in quarantine. You've survived. It's time to treat yourself. Your balls will thank you. Use promo code Jock and Nerd, manscaped.com, 20% off, free shipping. Let's take a break here. We're going to come back and talk about another new movie released only on video on demand right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Aisla.
And together we are the hosts of the Bicurian podcast.
Bicurian is our answer to the polarizing culture we live in.
Tired of feeling under siege and looking for ways to get involved? Then come be a part of a different way of thinking.
Everything from politics to geek culture to current events that polarize us as a society. We explore multiple ways of looking at things. Please check us out at bicurian.com and follow us on your favorite social media platform of choice.
Hi guys, I'm Dean.
And I'm Daniel.
And we're from the IMDb Journey podcast,
where we break down every movie from the top 250 list, giving our own thoughts and reviews and any general discussion along the way.
But when we're not doing that, we also battle other podcasts in various movie-related games of trivia and drafts.
We also give quick reviews about every other film we've watched as well.
Yeah, here we're quite good too.
Yeah, if you guys don't believe us, why don't you listen to these genuine testimonies?
Oh, hey guys, you guys are really good. I love your chemistry.
Oh, hey, brew. It's this is a good podcast, yo. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, love the banter, guys. Keep it up.
IMDb Journey is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Fantastic testimonies.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely genuine and real. And if you want to give a genuine testimony as well, go ahead and search for IMDb Journey. You can find us on all your favorite podcast sites, including iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify.
So come along and join our journey.
And
Ruggs is back from pooping. Thanks for waiting, Ruggs. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my butthole was dilated 10 centimeters.
It was ready to go. I'm surprised you made it as long as you did.
It shot out like a cannon.
Good for you. You got a squatty potty? Do you use one of those?
I do.
They're amazing. Everyone should. We poop wrong. That's a whole nother podcast. I'm here to tell you about our fan club, listener. If you like the show, join the Jock and Nerd fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon, where you get bonus content. You get swag, stickers, t-shirts. You get our thanks. You get recognition. You're in an exclusive community. And everyone gets access to an additional RSS podcast feed that has bonus content in it. And the shows come out early. So you get your Jock and Nerd on a day, 2 days before.
Jock and Nerd.
And we got a new Corona binge report. Anthony, I just posted it yesterday. What did you watch?
Yesterday, as in Wednesday, the 24th.
Correct.
The show comes out on Saturday or Sunday, depending on if you give us money.
Yeah.
When They See Us, I saw that. I was intending to see that right after this, when all the George Floyd stuff happened, but just finally got around to it. It's really good. It's 4 episodes based on the Central Park 5 jogger case. I would say, obviously I'd like you to listen to my review, but I'll give you a quick preview. Jarrell Jerome, who's in this, is freaking amazing.
He's a star. He's a star.
He won an Emmy for it.
Yeah, he's great. It's on.
Not telling you anything you didn't already know.
It's on Netflix, listener, and it's it'll make you mad. It's heavy, but it's very well done. Great drama docuseries, kind of dramatic it's not a documentary, but based on true events, very good. And yeah, that's about it. It's kind of quiet this week, but there's tons of bonus things to listen. Join.
I saw a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to make tons of.
Okay,
I have like a lot of stuff.
All right. Well, the stuff I saw, I'm going to talk about at the end of the show and what we've been watching. But join the fan club, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. And if you give us $10 a month or more, you can force us to review any movie you want. We still got a bunch of round 2 movies. We did some new round ones, and we will continue to do that. This week, though, we are not doing that. We're going to review another new release that went straight to video on demand. This is a review of The King of Staten Island.
Is he a superhero?
He is not a superhero.
Oh.
Maybe. Here's your spoiler alert. Oh, before I hit the spoilers, here's a great example of podcast chapters. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, you don't want to be spoiled, or you don't give a fuck about what we think. I don't know why you wouldn't. You should care about what we think. If you press,
maybe they don't like Pete Davidson.
Maybe you don't like Pete Davidson. That's totally understandable.
Scott Weinstein will probably jump to this part, though.
Yeah, Scott can jump. You can jump right to the review, but right now, if you hit the next button on your podcast, it'll take you right to News from the Nation. Not spoiling.
News from the Nation.
Yes, very well done. Human soundboard. But you can get it spoiled later. So that's how you use podcast chapters. Here is your spoiler alert.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
So this movie was originally supposed to premiere at South by Southwest, and then that got canceled. And then it was going to be at another festival, and then that got canceled. And it was supposed to premiere and drive in theaters, a few small across the country, just right before it was going to release. Theaters were promoting it and selling tickets for it. And then it was pulled just a few days before they eventually released it on video on demand for a $20 rental.
$20.
Right. This is a
Very
$20
expensive.
rental.
That's a lot for this movie.
Yes, we will get into that. But it did top the VOD charts when it came out at number 1 for whatever that's worth.
I don't know what that means anything because it's the newest movie that's come out.
Yeah, it's just, of course,
content deprived culture. But yeah,
right. That's the thing. If it was in the box office, would it have been different? But it's just people are looking for new shit, and the minute something new comes on VOD, it's going to go to the top of the charts. Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at a 72% with a 6.81 out of 10 average rating. And I'm not sure of the budget. Obviously, it's very low. But this movie is directed by Judd Apatow, written by Judd Apatow, Dave Cyrus, who writes for Saturday Night Live, and Pete Davidson, himself, starring Pete Davidson. You got Marissa Tomei as his mom, Bill Burr with a crazy mustache as the guy who meets his mom, Belle Powley as his girlfriend, Maude Apatow, who's actually Judd's daughter, as playing his sister. Steve Buscemi is in there as a fireman friend of Bill Burr's, and a bunch of other people, but that's your main cast. Anthony, what happens in this movie? What happens in this long 2-hour, 15-minute movie?
In this really long Judd Apatow movie?
This long comedy. Yes.
That he always seems to make?
Yes.
This is about a 24-year-old man-child living in Staten Island.
Correct.
That has a lot of social issues due to the fact that his dad died as a kid, and he basically just doesn't want to grow up.
His firefighter dad, yes.
His firefighter dad, yes. He doesn't want to grow up, and he's dealing with the fact that his sister's leaving and his mom's met a new person, and he's 24 and he should probably be leaving the house or at least be on some sort of track to doing something, and he's not. And it's just following this guy and all his adventures, played by Pete Davidson. Good old Pooh Eyes.
Good old Pooh Eyes in your typical Apatow slacker comedy. Ruggs, I'm going to go to you, actually. Give me your opening thoughts when this movie ended. What were you thinking?
Well, I was like, okay, I've seen this movie. It's a Judd Apatow movie.
Yep.
He does this. This is his formula for every movie. It just so happens to have Pete Davidson in it.
Correct.
I thought it was weird. How old is Pete Davidson?
He's actually 26.
Yeah, so I feel like why didn't they age him up to 26?
I mean, 24, 26, who cares? It's the same fucking thing.
It's 24. It's like still like you're still all right. You could still maybe see a guy living at home at 24, maybe, but like
I don't know. These days,
like
Anthony,
a 30-year-old living at home, that's more pathetic. So it's like
it happens more these days, though.
Yeah, so it's like.
Yeah, 24 isn't too bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that egregious. I'm like, I know. So I was just like, that's weird. Like, you could have just easily,
he
said
could have been
he was
his own
26.
age. Yeah, he's actually 26.
Yeah. So, that's weird. But, anyway, I felt like I've seen this movie before. The only difference is that this is based around molded around Pete Davidson's life.
Absolutely.
And I enjoyed aspects of this movie. I feel like that a lot of the supporting cast was very strong and made it enjoyable.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of scenes where it started to click, but it was way far into the movie.
Yes.
And which makes you feel like you wasted a lot of time in the beginning of the movie. I don't know. I overall, I did enjoy this movie in aspects.
Yeah.
I don't think as a whole it works, but I think that parts of it work really well.
All right, Anthony, this is what'd you think of this kind of semi-autobiographical story of Pete Davidson?
It kind of reminded me of Honey Boy.
Oh, with Shia LaBeouf.
I mean, it's your typical Judd Apatow film in terms of you have a guy that's kind of a child or has childlike friends. He has his whole posse of dudes that he hangs around that are all have their own little quirky banter and all that.
It's always permanent adolescent with Judd.
Yeah, it's always about these dudes that need to grow up, right? A 40-year-old virgin, knocked up, this one.
And it's how they tiptoe towards adulthood, like slowly. Yeah.
Right. I haven't seen some of those other ones, but those are his two best, right? 40-year-old virgin and knocked up. So I generally enjoy Judd Apatow films. They always do seem to be a little too long, and this one's definitely too long for some. There's just too many side things that happen that just don't lead to anything.
Yeah.
I didn't find Pete Davidson to be as engaging as a Steve Carell or a Seth Rogen.
Yes. So he always picks these comic leads.
He tries to make them into stars.
Comedian actors, yes.
So I didn't find him as engaging, but I didn't find him to be bad either.
Yeah.
I would say the standout actually for me is Bill Burr, who's not being a comedian the entire time.
Yeah.
So overall, I kind of agree with Ruggs in that there's scenes that work for me. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't. But overall, I can tell it's a pretty heartfelt film. I related to it a little bit with the losing of the father, and just kind of the man-child thing. I think there's a little bit of that in all men, in that they don't ever really want to grow up.
Yeah.
So that relates to a lot of us.
Absolutely.
So overall, I found it enjoyable. I don't think I would remember this in the same vein that I remember Knocked Up or the 40-Year-Old Virgin, but it's okay. It's the same stuff he's been doing, though. That's the only problem.
It is a usual Judd Apatow movie. A man-child gets
It's a more dramatic comedy.
And so there's also, he did Trainwreck with Amy Schumer.
He's the king of the dramedies.
Yes, he is the king. And this one, out of all of them, is probably his least comedic effort. There's a lot more drama. The jokes are good. I also really enjoy Judd Apatow comedies. I've always have, like, Trainwreck's great, Knocked Up, and the ones you said. And I found this very heartfelt, very honest, emotional, charming at times, but it's very mellow and melancholic. It's a slacker
I feel
comedy.
like he's an asshole, and I don't really think he's going to do anything.
Yeah, so he is.
So, like, I don't really think there was a resolution.
He is an asshole for a big part of the movie.
He's a huge douche.
Yeah.
And then he's probably still a huge douche. He just knows it more now.
I did enjoy it, though. I thought it was entertaining. And like you said, the supporting cast is fucking great. This movie, though, coming into it, I think how you feel about Pete Davidson as a person really will influence how you like this movie, because he's been all over. He's been very public, and he's playing himself. He's not even another character when he's on SNL, when he's in real life. He's just always himself.
It doesn't bother you when, like, the movie ends and he sucks at making tattoos in the beginning.
Yeah,
and he still sucks at making tattoos.
No, he's not. He didn't
like,
get
he
that
doesn't
better.
apply himself at all.
Yeah.
He doesn't even do what the guy tells him to do, and he fucking puts a Chinese symbol on him.
Chinese letters. Oh shit! I was like,
it shows no growth.
No.
It shows nothing. He's still a douche.
He's still kind of an asshole for doing that.
So what's the point of the movie? You just learn why he's a douche.
Well, I mean, he does learn a little He learns a little appreciation for firefighters.
Yeah,
and he ends up realizing
he
that he likes
that his
the girl.
dad's a drug addict. That's what he
true.
liked. He liked they found out his dad was fucked up.
But that was so because he always thought his dad was perfect, and he just needed something to humanize him, like he said.
I don't buy it.
Well, he does also realize that the girl that he's been just dissing the entire time is actually probably the one.
Yes, and that she was amazing. Her character was amazing. The way it was like a lot of the dialogue felt very real.
I have no idea what she sees in him.
No, I don't. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't think it worked. That's why I don't think this film works. I know, like, what happens is it does tug at your feelings as a man sometimes.
Yeah.
Anthony hit that right on the head. There is this, like, Peter Pan syndrome that we have where we feel lost and we compare ourselves to our father and all this stuff.
Yep.
And what are we expected to do? What's the point of what kind of mark am I going to make on this world? What am I here for? All that as existential stuff. It's in there, but at the end of the day, it doesn't work because you're building this character that has no redeeming qualities, is a douche, and doesn't learn anything really, and you don't even know why this girl's into him.
Yeah, I don't know. She could do way better.
He has to have something. Like they tried it, right? And then they had him with the kids.
Yes.
Where he walked them to school. I was like, all right, this is going to be the thing.
Yeah.
Where he's going to somehow find something with these kids and, like,
but then they drop that also. Yes.
And then they kind of, like, they just meander off that. So it's like they had this thing that they could have probably grown a little bit or to add dimension to him, but they kind of just, like, let it slide. So as I said, there's parts of these film that I like, but I think overall it doesn't work. I don't know. I just don't like Judd Apatow as much as I used to.
Oh no, he's slipping. This one, he's just kind of like it's very.
A lot of it's him jerking off.
It is.
He has his kids in the movie.
Yeah,
like
she was great,
like,
though.
whatever.
But the sister,
he is kind of lazy. I mean, he has the weird crew like around. That weird group of friends. That same thing as Knocked Up. Same thing as
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. He has his formula.
Yeah.
Yeah,
except it's 12 years later, 13 years.
Like, the only thing original about this stuff was the stuff that Pete Davidson boiled in from his own life.
Yeah, and a lot of it is from his own life. So I did like how it makes you think about, traumas in your life and how they may stunt your growth emotionally. And it makes you think, did this really... is this the reason I'm like this? Because I did, like myself, I lost my dad when I was 20. I don't know if I've fully processed that and just kind of suppressed it and said, whatever. But it definitely affected things looking back. When the girlfriend was great because she could have easily been a one-dimensional throwaway character, and there was so much depth to her. Like, all the supporting cast, I wanted to know more.
Why is there depth to her?
Yeah, I would push back on that because although I understand what they were going for with him getting the girl, I don't know why she stuck around.
Well,
for him.
I don't know why she stuck around, but
what? Tell me about her character. Or is this just some bullshit that you just fell for?
This is the scene I liked was where he's homeless and he goes to her and then they fuck first and then he's like, "Oh, can I stay over?" And the way she handled it was like, it was just so refreshing and different. She's like, "I'm calm. I'm not going to freak out." But she says this line. She's like, "You are so crazy that you make everyone around you feel fucking crazy." And right away, I was like, "Oh, I knew somebody like that. Like, I know somebody like this. I know how this girl feels." But she was taking the civil service test. She wanted to put Staten Island on the map, you know? It was like little things like that I thought gave her a little bit of depth. I liked the girlfriend. I thought she was very, very interesting character.
I thought she was fine, but I really think that they didn't bake that enough either.
No, they didn't.
It was half baked.
Yeah, all of it was half baked. That's the problem. The other thing that really bugged me is like the first 2 acts of this movie it meanders around so much. When he gets to the firehouse, I love that part. That should have been the whole movie. It's almost like two separate
movies. The only dynamic that I like was him with Bill Burr.
Yeah.
That's the only relationship, and maybe with his mom.
Yeah.
She's not bad either.
That
M.A. Fucking M.A. looking good. Shit.
You know, like that triad or whatever.
Yeah.
They saved this whole movie, like their interactions with each other.
That should have been the focus.
So he fucking, like, he's a douche. You know, he tattoos this boy.
That's hilarious.
That's his son.
Yes.
He goes in hot, fucking blah, 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 blah. And he's like, whoa, this chick is hot. Like, I'm going to try and ask her out. And he does. And then it's just this guy that yelled at you is now dating your mom.
I mean, that's a good setup. I mean, and it's a wacky way to get there.
Yes.
But I actually enjoy that. The problem is I think Judd Apatow, and I guess in cohorts with Pete Davidson, they just meander too much.
Oh,
like
my
there's
God.
a random college party.
Yes.
There's a random. Well, I wrote this down. There's a random
so many
college
random
party.
things.
There's a random why does the robbery
They rob
need to
a
happen?
pharmacy. He takes a trip to college. There's the sister's graduation. He works as a busboy and fights for tips. He walks the kids. All these fucking things happen before they even get to the firehouse scenes, which were my favorite.
They just needed to kind of tighten that up a little bit, but Judd Apatow likes to just sit with characters, and I don't mind necessarily sitting with characters, but a lot of times I sit there and I go, like, what was the point of the robbery?
I don't mind any of that. I don't mind sitting with anything or having a long movie as long as it's baked.
Yeah,
like they've really cooked it up. They really there
was a lot of
took time to let it fucking be what it's supposed to be instead of just like throwing shit at you with no development or no thought.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of that. They just kind of like it wanted to be like a commentary on depression and trauma, but it's really just like this slacker comedy. But it's not even, it's funny, but it could have used more jokes for the fucking 2-hour, 15-minute runtime.
I'll say this. I didn't mind that it was like, it is kind of a commentary on depression, but they don't throw it into your face hey, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that subtlety.
Yeah.
But I also, with Rugs, and that a lot of it's just like they're throwing a bunch of stuff at you, and there's not really a cohesive weaving of what's going on.
I mean,
and how this is getting
maybe
to this
if you
point.
watch it a few times, you might be able to read into it a little more and pick up some things. But on a first watch, it seems like it's not very, very well
baked.
I don't know what's the other word. Developed.
Yes, they're not developed.
What do you guys think of Pete Davidson? Do you think he's the next?
Is he a good
star?
leading man? Does he have star potential?
I mean, I think he's fine at playing himself.
Yes, absolutely. I thought he did really well. I loved when he did have emotion, and just when he's watching them go into the fire. I thought they were going to kill Bill Burr for a second. I was like, oh shit, they're going to kill Bill Burr. But just him watching them go in and see the work, and you could see it on his face. But
why is that dude who gets shot? Remember that when they threw that in?
Yeah, the pharmacy. They rob a pharmacy for some fucking reason.
Oh, the guy gets shot.
No. The
guy at
dude.
the end. Oh, so was that Action Bronson?
Action Bronson.
That's Action Bronson. Yeah,
that was a funny cameo, but it was so random.
So I'll tell you why. This is my other issue with the movie is towards the from the middle to the end, stuff just happens to get them to the next fucking plot point in the movie.
Well, actually, let me jump on that Action Bronson thing real quick.
Yeah.
Although I found it funny.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. this guy's been shot, and the lady in the emergency room's like,
take a seat.
Next
Fill this
person
out.
up. It's like, what are we doing here?
Well, so that was written in only to get him to the hospital with Ray, where his mom is, so she could see that he did the tattoo and that they're all cool now. And that was the end of that.
But that scene takes you out of it when she goes, "Oh, sit down, whatever."
That might happen in places.
No, it wouldn't. The guy's shot in the stomach,
fucking bleeding out,
bleeding out.
What did he say?
What did she do? She talked to him, and then okay, let's get him some.
No, because Ray showed up and he's like, "I'm a firefighter. Get this guy some fucking help." He knew. I don't know. His mom's there, and he couldn't even get to her.
The writing needed some. It feels like the writing needed like an editor to look over and go.
It was just getting how to get from one thing to the next thing, and you could see that
like,
in the writing.
Like a 15-year-old wrote it, where hey, you don't fully have formed thoughts.
Well, it's
yet.
permanent adolescent Apatow shtick kind of thing.
It is. This is his shtick.
I think Pete Davidson would be okay pulling off the same rule for a couple of movies. I don't know how much range he has because he's the same guy on SNL. He's the same guy when he was almost married.
In SNL, doesn't he have more like a dark humor thing? I mean, there is some dark humor.
Yeah, and that's
in
where
this
you
too.
learn that he had Crohn's, he had suicidal thoughts. He's his whole like deprecating demeanor. It's all he just does himself. But even when he's in sketches, they're kind of like just another version of himself. I've always been intrigued by him, though, because he was like, I think
he has super hot girlfriends.
Well, yeah, he almost got married to Ariana Grande.
Look up all his girlfriends. He's dated really hot girls.
Well, but look up the latest one that he just broke up with, what we were talking about earlier. It looks just like him.
Oh, shit.
Yes, he's dating a girl that you think they use the FaceApp on.
That's the girl from Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood?
Hollywood.
Which one?
She's Margaret Qualley. She's the girl with her feet up on the dashboard.
Oh, that's her. She looks a lot like him. She looks very similar. But I always was intrigued because he was so young when he got on SNL. He was 20, and like Eddie Murphy was like 19 when he got on SNL. He was the youngest. He was like the youngest generation of cast. So I kind of, some of his sketches are hit or miss, but I've always been really intrigued by Pete Davidson.
I
as
didn't
a person.
like his stand-up special at all.
No, I couldn't. You know what? I started that and I couldn't finish it.
I tried to watch Eric Andre's is even worse.
I turned it off.
You know what the thing, I mentioned this right in my opening thoughts, but I actually was more impressed with Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr was great.
I think Bill Burr actually has a career in being like a wide-ranging actor rather than Pete Davidson.
And I'm telling you, comics make the best fucking actors. People don't give him a chance. Bill Burr is an amazing actor. You've seen him in Breaking Bad. You've seen him in lots of great TV shows, and his comedy is hilarious.
This is one of his biggest roles, I think.
I mean, he was nervous working across from Marissa Tomei, who's a legit like star legend, and he's like,
Bill Burr like commands almost every scene he's in, and I think there is something to comics and just the range of emotion that they can play, because I think I read this somewhere, maybe I listened to it, but a lot of comics, the reason they start comedy is because they're damaged goods. So that they've been used to making fun of themselves the entire lives.
To be a good stand-up, it comes from a dark place. You see this all the time.
Touch places that a lot of other people can't.
Just now, you can't be funny anymore.
Well,
so.
I mean, like Robin Williams is a great example of this. You can still be funny. Just I don't know. Okay,
there's a lot of great comics.
There's a lot of great comics that have been great actors. Yes.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and I don't think it goes the other way. You couldn't get
Robin Williams.
I mean, De Niro does some comedic movies.
Did you see Good Will Hunting yet?
Not yet. It's on the list.
You gotta watch that.
You know, the other thing I loved about this movie, Ruggs, is how all of Staten Island, how the Staten Island represent.
Wait, let me bring that up real quick.
They shot it in the Bronx.
Oh, they did.
Let me bring that up real quick.
Yeah,
I wrote this down.
Yeah.
Why is it called the King of Staten Island?
He's not really the king of anything, is he?
Yeah, he's not.
And is it really? I didn't feel like I got a Staten Island vibe other than when they're in the park with the overgrown weeds.
Well, they're on the ferry. Ruggs, Ruggs, what is the Staten Island vibe, and why do people shit on Staten Island like it's New Jersey?
Because it's built on a huge garbage dump.
It is. It's a garbage dump you could see from space.
So there's landfills in New Jersey too, but I think that theirs is like you could see it from space.
You could see it from space. They're going to turn it into a park.
As someone that's based in a Manhattan garbage can,
yes,
did this encapsulate Staten Island?
I don't really know. I'm not really big on Staten Island. I know people who live there. I've been to Staten Island many times, but Staten Island is just, it feels like suburban New Jersey and any other suburb off of the city. It's got some beach.
Yeah.
Well,
they got hit by Hurricane Sandy pretty bad when that happened.
Yeah, it's got some beach area. Yeah. All right. It's got kind of like an urban area, and it's got like a very suburban area as well. It's kind of like packed together.
Yeah.
because it's a small island and everything's kind of like there's not a lot of breathing room. Like there's like maybe one or two areas that are on the top of the mountain on the plateaus and stuff that you got some breathing room, but it's pretty packed together.
They gave us Wu-Tang, man. That's all. Fuck yeah.
I just don't understand. I watched the movie and I had no idea walking in or turning it on what it was about.
Yeah.
And I go, this title doesn't mean anything to this movie.
No, he's still a fuck up. I mean, and even the last shot is
but
just
it means,
him.
like, I thought the movie was about this like guy being in Staten Island and like earning his way to the top.
Right.
It's nothing to do with Staten Island or being a king.
Even the last shot was just like him in Manhattan looking off. I thought it ended really
the
jarringly.
movie ends.
Yeah.
The movie has no ending.
No, it just stops. But he's looking out as if he's fixed up. He's got some of his shit together, just a little bit. But that's like a big win. So Apatow goes really easy on Davidson in this movie, unlike his other movies where he really makes his characters have a huge growth. But this is probably because Davidson wrote this.
Wrote the movie.
Yeah, but they gave us Wu-Tang. You know geographically where it is, right, Anthony? Staten Island. Can you picture?
Oh yeah, I can definitely pick. There was no reason why I would ever go, but I was just wondering.
So if anyone doesn't know,
this was Staten Island.
It's underneath.
In a lot of ways, I
Manhattan.
feel like Staten Island is just Jersey.
Right.
It's just that's New York owns.
I heard Staten Island wanted to secede from New York a few years ago. I read that story too. So they're interesting.
Like there's only one way into Staten Island and only one way out.
Yeah.
Like it's like a really weird, like it's really locked in there. Like it's not like this. It's not really connected to Manhattan. It's only connected to Brooklyn.
Is it true what they say in the movie that even the people in Jersey look down upon Staten Island?
Why do people shit on?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
huge.
god.
Oh shit.
People shit. I'm
Because
sorry, Staten Island.
Jersey is like Jersey's got way better beaches. It's got mountains, huge parks. You know, people live on acres of property, like all over the place. There's urban areas. There's all. I mean, it's a very diverse. It's a state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just fuck with this. Like Staten Island's a borough. Like they, you know, what are they? It's not the same thing. You can't really compare them. So is it better? I don't know. I guess. I mean, people in Staten Island are gonna flip out when I say this. But I mean, like it's fine. It's a fine place.
Ooh,
it's just it's just a small borough. It doesn't have that. It's not big enough to compete with like an entire state.
Right. But you're saying they filmed some of this in the Bronx too?
Yeah. I think Bilotti being from Staten Island.
Right. I wonder about. We should ask Bilotti what he thinks about this movie.
Totally ask. We should have just phoned a friend in.
We're like, what do you think of the King of Staten Island? Let me give you a couple of.
He said, I think he watched it.
Oh, he did? I'm going to have to find out. I got some fun Easter eggs, and then we will rate the movie. Pete Davidson said in an interview the movie is 75% true. Pete Davidson's real father was named Scott. He's named Scott in the movie and was a firefighter who passed away on 9/11. Pete Davidson, like we said, he does have Crohn's disease and he's had suicidal thoughts. He said that on SNL bits on Weekend Update. He still lives with his mother, but of course, I think he bought her a nice house, so they live in a nice house. Steve Buscemi was a real New York fireman and came down on 9/11 to help. In the beginning, they're watching The Purge. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
So The Purge stars Marissa Tomei, also takes place in Staten Island.
Oh shit.
So that was interesting. A lot of real family members in this movie. His actual grandfather is in there. He's the guy at the graduation party who says college is a scam. But then he's like, oh, you'll have a great time. The anti-college old man is Pete's real grandfather. The pharmacy owner who shoots the guy in the robbery, that's Robert Smigel. Triumph the Insult Comic Dog.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. This is how Davidson got to SNL. Judd Apatow, when he was making Trainwreck, which is like a Amy Schumer vehicle, he asked her who's the funniest person she knows. She tells Judd about Pete. Pete puts him in a cameo in Trainwreck where he meets Bill Hader, who introduces him to Lorne Michaels and gets him on the show. And then this.
So I guess he was doing stand up and she thought he was funny.
Yeah, and Judd said he's gone to see him.
What happened to that?
I don't know. I guess he was funny. He's very nervous, weird stand up. I mean, like we said,
maybe I should watch some old.
Like I said, I couldn't get through his new stand up special.
All I saw was him on SNL, which is fine because he's only on for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But that hour special was rough.
Yeah, I could. I'm telling you, I got bored and I bailed. And then one last weird bit. Those are all his real tattoos, obviously, which is also why I don't know how you're going to be in other movies, not playing yourself with tattoos. But he has a tattoo on his shoulder of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And in the promotional picture and the photos where he's standing up with his arms wide with the title of the movie, they removed the RBG tattoo for some reason, but it's in the movie. I don't know why they would Photoshop out the Ruth Bader Ginsburg tattoo. I thought that was very strange.
I would throw in, and you mentioned this earlier, but the fact that Pete Davidson is in this, I put out on my Instagram that I was watching this, and I had a few friends go, I'm not watching that. I hate Pete Davidson.
Yeah, if you don't like him, you're not going to like this movie. If you don't know, you might want to check it out, but it totally depends on how you feel about him, because this is a showcase for him. Essentially, that's all it is.
I mean, it's written about his life.
Yeah, it's a Pete Davidson showcase. So I had a couple of questions. I think we already know the answers to, can Pete Davidson become a movie star? Does he have that star quality? I don't know.
We'll see.
I think he's got.
I don't know.
I think that this project is great for him.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's like, hey, listen, I could take my whole entire life and put it into this movie that has a lot of heart in it.
Yeah.
That most people will like. Even if they don't like the movie or whatever, they'll still kind of respect this movie on some level because there's a lot going for it. So this is great for him.
It is absolutely good for him.
He might get some more roles, but I don't think he's going to be the star of a movie.
Yeah.
Unless, this makes a lot of money. If this makes a shitload of money or whatever.
Well, speaking of money, there's my next question. If I was listening to this, my final question would be, is this worth a $20 rental?
No.
I'm going to agree.
You beat me to it. I was going to go, no.
I'm surprised that they're throwing a $20. But the fact that, it apparently is doing really well, but $20.
Holy crap. $6 or $7.
This is a $9 movie.
Yes. Or even, I was going to say like $7 rental, fine, $9. $20, I don't know. That's a lot, but it's a new movie. So,
are we going to rate this?
Let's rate it. Ruggs, go first. What would you give it?
I feel like that just for like Bill Burr alone and Marissa Tomei acting, and the fact that you do learn a lot about Pete Davidson, and there is heart to this movie, even though it's meandering and half-baked and not really well written and throws everything at you. I think you can still come away with it with some kind of a positive feeling. Yeah. So I'm going to give it like a 6.5.
Okay.
Damn it.
Oh, shit. Anthony?
This is exactly what you were going to
rate your score?
That's it. So that's my rating.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Also 6.5. Okay.
2 weeks in a row, I think we've come up with similar ratings.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'll just say that for most of the movie, actually, I was probably going to rate it like a 5.
Yeah.
But then by the end, when he has the stories with his dad, and he
that's the best
kind of
part.
just learns more about his past and kind of somewhat finds his way. They frame it in a way where you're like, there's all the feels of eventually growing up and being okay with the fact that, hey, I'm fucking up along the way, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So that stuff did hit me.
Yeah.
But most of the time I was like, this movie's just okay. So that raised it enough to get me to the 6.5.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with
Otherwise, I was just going to be like, man, this is okay.
It's okay.
It's a 5.
It is, I like Judd Apatow, but it is a formula movie. And like I said before, it's his least comedic one, but the drama is there. The heart is there. I am interested in Pete Davidson. I thought he pulled off the heart, and the end of the movie was great. I just wish I didn't have to go through like an hour, 15 minutes of meandering shit to get there. I'm going to give it a 7. It's enjoyable. It was entertaining. But I don't think $20.
I liked it a little bit more than
I liked it a little bit more than you guys.
I know you mentioned this last week.
Yeah.
Imran?
Yeah.
And when we said we would review this, or maybe you mentioned it offline.
Yeah.
That there was some Oscar buzz.
No, I was wrong.
Maybe this year because there's just nothing going on, but I just don't see this being an Oscar movie
I think
in any
Bill
way.
Burr can get
supporting, maybe
a nod.
Supporting, maybe.
I don't think it's best director
because it's something
or best
like
actor.
it's a good performance for him.
Yeah.
It's his first big role, and he kind of did a good job.
It's
so
layered,
he might just get
too.
a nod just because he kind of did a great job. Maybe he won't even get it at all.
It's so three-dimensional. He goes from wanting to kill Pete to getting to bond with him, and they even fight and they get over it, and he's so real in some of his responses, and I love this character. So he may get a shot, but that's about it. I thought there was going to be some buzz, and there's not any.
It's first, it's not good enough in my opinion, but second, I just don't see this is not an Oscar type movie.
Yeah, only in this climate because we have nothing new out that this could be a player. Because
I've seen it show up on some lists already. Best movies of 2020 so far.
Well, when you have 4 movies,
right? It's not a lot. That's absolutely
You got the two we
right.
reviewed the last 2 weeks, and then Birds of Prey, so it's tough.
Yeah, well, there was that's true. That's about it. That's about it. There's some other things. So,
1917.
Yeah, but that was in the theater
last year.
Yeah, and
was it?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
All right, good stuff. Good. I had a good time watching this. I like Judd Apatow. It's a nice little change of pace. Let's get to news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
Oh no! What happened? He had a blowout. Is that a fucking prolapse?
You better check your pants.
That doesn't
after that
sound good. I think you need to see a doctor.
I got skid marks.
Oh my god!
Not funny.
That wasn't funny?
No, it was funny. Sorry, it's the opposite of that.
Floppy jock.
I don't have
Not
the opposite
funny.
of funny.
It
Skid marks are
stinks.
funny.
It stinks. It stinks.
Anyways, skid
marks are funny.
Skid marks are always funny. I got some comments from our last episode where we had the cameo from the independent wrestler Danhausen, and we talked about Oregon Trail.
Of sorts.
And of sorts. Nerdhausen, and we reviewed The Five Bloods. Blake Braden said, just got to this podcast. Donovan Danhausen is a wonderful wrestler. Ring of Hausen. He writes in all capital letters. So somebody knew him, Ruggs.
No.
You can enroll. I looked on the Cameo website, and at the bottom it says enroll as talent, and it asks for like your social media account and your number of followers. That may exclude you.
I don't have enough.
That may be the only problem.
You have way more. You have double the followers that I have.
So maybe I'll put in our followers, but they want to see your thing. I don't know. I'm going to try to make it work. Does anybody know anybody at Cameo? We got to get Rug Boy on there. Jimmy McPike, our resident historian, listener, and friend, says, for the record, I did beat Oregon Trail.
He would be the guy that beats Oregon
Once
Trail.
as a child, and Gandhi wasn't perfect, especially as it relates to the Dalit population of India. There you go.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know, but there's your history lesson for the week.
He's talking about Dalit population.
They're
nice to party and get drunk.
They're so
At that
lit.
time, probably not too many people.
They were lit back when lit was a thing.
Yeah, they're Dalit.
Yeah. Lit people.
The lit population.
Chris Williams left a comment saying, you guys left out the movie The Walking Dead, not the Robert Kirkman, from 1995 also.
Where do we leave it out of?
When we were talking
The
about
conversation about the Miracle of Santana. There's always there's a lot of movies about
Black Vietnam veteran
not
experience.
Vietnam, but Black War veterans. There's Red Tails. There's a lot.
No,
There's
but
the Tuskegee
Chris, I haven't
Airmen.
seen everything yet. Give me 2 more weeks and I'm good.
Vietnam specifically, though, we mentioned Dead Presidents, 1995, The Five Blood does it, but there's a movie called The Walking Dead from 1995 that has, who's in this? Alan Payne, Eddie Griffin, Joe Morton, Bernie Mac is in this, and it is about, in 1972 Vietnam, a group of United States Marines are sent to rescue several POW officers. The landing zone, which should have been cold, actually turns out to be indeed very hot. And there's a fight and blah, blah, blah. So they're going to save some POWs. But this is kind of an interesting, I didn't even know this movie existed. Chris Williams, thanks for turning me on. I might watch that. And then Scott Beck says, The Five Bloods was super silly. I thought you guys scored it a little high. I thought Delroy Lindo did very well, though. Okay, all right.
I don't necessarily disagree with Scott Beck thinking like that.
There were silly parts.
I think I even said I could see how you would think this is kind of a mess or a silly movie.
Yeah. So, but look.
I think we addressed all those things. We just thought that the subject matter and some of the powerful ways of depicting these things were worth checking out.
Still recommend The Five Bloods on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth a check out. Chaz Hubbard back with awesome questions from our Facebook groups has got another question for the show. Who is your favorite? Oh, sorry. Who? I read that. I can't read. What is your favorite movie sequel that's better than the first movie? Very good question. You guys think about it.
They're all in this list.
Here's the thing. I'm going to go through the list from the nation because you guys you mentioned all of them. Jess Rivera said Winter Soldier, my favorite MCU movie, or Lord of the Ring, Two Towers. Geek Boner just for the Helm's Deep scene alone.
It is a long
Geek Boner. It's a big Geek Boner. Josh McClinney says The Dark Knight all day long.
It's a great pick.
That's a great pick. Bill Vincent, Godfather Part 2. I agree with this pick.
Okay.
I think that's a good one because in the first one you had Al Pacino. In the second one, you add the Robert De Niro. How's it going to get worse? You know? Jimmy Shea with like the biggest, most obvious answer, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's an obvious one.
Course.
Yeah.
Glenn Smith, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. Yes.
Geek Boner.
Evil Dead 2.
And Evil Dead 2. And I even like Army of Darkness if you want to talk sequel.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Justin Zwerner, Terminator 2. Fuck yeah.
That's a great one.
Rodney Simon says Rambo. What was it called? First Blood Part 2, right?
Yeah.
So the second Rambo movie I watched when I was a kid, and it was, it was like cheesy 80s. And then I watched the first one. I didn't realize how like serious the first one was.
It's more of a real movie.
Yes. And then the second one is what they talk about in the
action film.
Yeah. But it's what they talk about in the Five Bloods. The guy going back to win the war. White guy coming back with machine guns. But I fucking love Rambo 2 First Blood.
Yeah, sure. It's fun. It's a fun action movie.
Doesn't he hides in the dirt in that one, right? He has that.
Yeah,
they do that like in Predator. Jimmy Graben says The Dark Knight. Fiddlesticks Winterbottom says Terminator 2. Aliens and Dark Knight. Aliens. Absolutely. Blake Braden and John Bellotti Jr. both Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
That's a great film, yeah.
I think the first one was so shitty that you couldn't make it.
Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere but up.
It
wasn't that bad.
No,
it
wasn't.
It just like after you got out of the Starfleet stuff, it just was boring.
You got Ricardo Montalban as fucking Khan, Fantasy Island. They should have put Hervé Villachez in it too. That was my only critique.
Mm-hmm.
You should go. Nick Shev says Gamera 2, BE2 with John Bellotti Jr.
It is a good one.
It's very good.
Yeah, would you agree with that one, Anthony? Both of you?
It's better than the first one.
Better than the first one. There you go. Jamie Robinson also said Empire Strikes Back. Roberto Rivera, Back to the Future 2. I'm on board with this one. I know a lot of people don't think it's
You think it's better?
I just like it because they go in the future and they go back to the first movie, and it's just more. It's a bigger world. It's
I gotta
more
watch
realized.
this. I haven't watched Back to the Future.
A lot of people don't like the second one, but I love the second one.
It turned me off of the movies. I like the third one, and then I like
the first one is fucking perfect, though. I don't know. The first
Yeah.
one is like a perfect movie. Benjamin West Cranford from Australia also said Wrath of Khan, and then Andy Smith wrote Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, but I think he meant What Nature Calls. Is the second one.
X2 is the best X-Men.
So that was my pick. X2, I think, is a good one. Temple of Doom, I think, is another favorite of mine. I love Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. What about Batman Returns? Some people,
I don't think that's better.
Some
than
people
Batman.
think that's better than the first one.
No.
What
I
about
don't think Superman 2 is
not
better
the
than
second?
Superman.
I like the second.
I like
Christopher
it.
Reeve Superman.
I like Superman 2, but I think Superman 1's just that whole sense of wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to see Superman beat some ass at the end, but he gets his ass kicked through the whole movie.
Also, Superman 2, Spider-Man 2, same exact movie. Think about it.
Yeah.
Watch them both. Same fucking movie. They both lose their powers and then they get them back.
Right.
Mad Max Fury Road.
It's not a sequel. It's not the sequel.
Well, so here's my question. What about non-second movie sequels? Doesn't that count as a sequel technically? Like Logan or Thor Ragnarok or Mission Impossible Fallout? That would be some of my picks.
I think they're all sequels. But
They're sequels.
Yeah, I guess.
His question was,
I don't know. I think it's
better than the
I think
first
he's hinting
movie.
at the second one being better than the first one.
Any other ones that the guys missed? The Nation nailed it.
I mean, there's plenty, but I can't think. There's so many out there that we gave him so many.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the standouts for me: Winter Soldier, Dark Knight, T2, Aliens,
yeah,
all stuff people have said.
Well done. All right, let's move into what
Goodwill Hunting Part 2.
Was there a Part 2? What happens? Did they get machine guns?
He does math.
He does. Oh, it's more than just fucking poetry.
Yeah, he creates math babies.
I'm gonna tackle calculus in this one. Matt Damon doing calculus.
Yeah,
that's called Rounders.
This one stars Bill Hunting.
Yeah, Shawshank 2.
Well, Shawshank 2, the tale of Red and what's his face on the island. What happens?
Raw Hank 2.
Raw Hank. Shawshank 2, even Shawshankier. The Return of the Shank. How about that? How about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey? The second one is very good.
I like the first one better.
I
mean, the second
first
one's
one's
great
good.
too, but that
First
first
one's
one's great.
It's hard to do a sequel that's better than the first sometimes. What are we watching, fellas? Anthony, you got anything you want to throw in here?
In the pipeline, you know what? For the first week, I don't have anything planned, but I did buy this poster called the 100 Movies Bucket List.
Shit, you got that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
And you
where
can
you
cross them off?
the movies that you've
Nice.
seen, you scratch off, and there's a little image.
How many you got
So
on
I got
there?
a bunch of, I've probably got like 60 movies on here that I haven't seen.
How many
so
have you watched on there? So like 40?
Probably like 35,
I can't,
40.
dude. The sense of accomplishment when you finish that poster, that's amazing. That's going to be great.
Probably there's a movie on here that I haven't seen by Akira Kurosawa that I don't know
Seven
which
Samurai?
one it is.
Oh,
which one?
You don't know what
Seven Samurai?
Seven Samurai.
Probably that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that one I'll watch. I don't know.
Or Ron or whatever.
I think it's Seven Samurai.
That's amazing. That's an amazing list and a way to keep track of it too. That's fucking fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Ruggs, what do you got? What you watch? Did you see anything? Did you watch anything?
I watched a lot of stuff.
What'd you watch?
So, okay, so I watched a Netflix film, Full Metal Alchemist, based on the anime that's live action. I watched Den of Thieves with Gerard Butler, and O'Shea Jackson Jr.,
Leonidas, and Ice Cube's
and I
son.
really actually enjoed that.
Whatst it called? Den of Thieves. All right, I'm gonna check that one
Den
out.
of Thieves, and I think there might be a sequel.
Okay.
It's just like a standard heist movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing really more than that.
Okay.
And whatever. They not a lot of it is baked either.
Okay.
Very half baked.
Okay.
And the ending is kind of like a but like I did like it while I was watching it. It got me sucked in.
Nice.
But like it sucked me in. Triple Frontier I watched.
Oh, that's a great movie. I really like Triple Frontier.
I actually liked it a lot.
It's on
too.
Netflix. Yeah.
And I think they should make a sequel to that. And Underwater, which was the Kristen Stewart in a bikini in bikini bottoms.
Is she any good in that?
For, she's fine.
Okay.
I mean, she's fine. She acts good. There's nothing wrong with her
she's
acting.
Treasure hunting?
No, they're drilling the Mariana Trench.
Okay.
And they're in the Mariana Trench, which is like miles and miles and miles deep.
Yeah.
Like the deepest part of the whole earth.
Yeah.
And something's there.
Oh, of course something's there. It's the Meg.
And
That's what the Meg was about.
And then the whole thing, the whole fucking expedition just goes to shit.
Okay.
And it's about her trying to freaking escape.
It's a space movie underwater.
Yeah. It's basically aliens underwater. And I also watched Infamous, starring Bella Thorne and her hairy armpits.
Okay.
And it is basically Mickey and Mallory. It's a girl, but the twist is social media.
Oh.
So it's she wants to leave her podunk town in Florida, and she meets this like hot like bad boy who has a criminal record, and she like convinces him to like go on a violent spree while she records it for her Instagram. And
oh wow!
And then she becomes famous.
You know, I just got to say something about the hairy armpits.
Yes.
I'm looking at pictures now.
Yes.
I can't do it.
I don't think it would stop me, but I had to think about it though.
Well,
I was like,
it's tough.
Yeah,
it's not something I'm used to.
Yeah, but
and they did it, and they could have made her shave her pits, but they didn't.
I mean, you don't see it all the time. You have hair there. That's the big deal. The hair grows there.
I'm just saying that I feel like that's kind of that's a sign of the times.
It is weird that
the future is hairy.
No, well, we are conditioned to think that shaved armpits are attractive. Like,
all right. I also watched Demolition Man.
Oh, you did
again?
Which is
that's happening.
Fucking
now.
So right on.
Yes,
because it's like every prediction that they're making about the future,
yes.
even though the movie starts in 1996.
Oh, it does.
And they have this technology where they could cryo freeze people, which didn't happen in 1996.
And then what year is it in the movie?
Well, the movie came out in 1993, but they were projecting in 1997 or something, like they would have the technology to cryo freeze people.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so they unfreeze Stallone in like 2030. So right now we're 2020.
Yeah, that's about right.
So 10 years from now,
you're gonna need seashells to wipe your ass.
You're not okay. So you're gonna use. First of all, you're not allowed to curse.
Oh,
you're not
that's
allowed to
right.
do anything bad.
That's happening.
Anything bad, you will get in trouble.
That's happening.
So you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to swear. You're not allowed to do drugs.
Oh wow.
You're not allowed to smoke cigarettes. You're not allowed to do anything that is bad for you.
I forgot about that.
You can't have sex.
Right.
You can't have a baby. You can't.
Well, you can't
have an abortion.
Bodily fluids, right?
You can't exchange bodily fluids.
Kind of like now.
So basically, you can't treat everybody's equal, and it's like and they're bored as fuck. And their only way of entertainment is looking at the past for entertainment.
This is our future. Give me 3 good, clean,
and that's contraband,
seashells.
by the way.
Oh,
looking at the past is contraband.
I forgot about all that. I need to watch that again. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Self-driving cars, which you already have. The police don't have weapons.
Oh shit! That's where we're going,
and that's why they have to get. That's why they have to get Stallone, because he's a frozen cop from back in the era where. So the story of Demolition Man is that Wesley Snipes is like this big bad guy, and Stallone, they both get frozen and they're thrown in prison, in this cryo prison, and then Wesley Snipes breaks out of it, and he's in the future, and they can't stop him because they forgot how to deal with real violent offenders, because everybody's this complacent, like kind of like non-person.
I haven't seen this movie in years.
Yeah, and so they have to like thaw out. They have to thaw out Stallone, who's
the guy
like,
that got him in
who's
his
a
era.
Neanderthal by their standards, and who still eats meat and everything like that.
That's amazing. I gotta watch this again. I totally forgot about it.
It's great.
Oh my god.
I love Demolition Man.
It's so bad.
It's prophetic though. Fucking prophetic movie.
Yeah, so we're like heading for that.
Absolutely. We're past Idiocracy. We're now on our way to Demolition Man. Anything else? That's a lot of stuff.
I watched a lot. A lot of it's going to be Corona Binge Reports when I get a chance to do it.
I watched a bunch of kind of fun things on Amazon Prime. If you have that, these things are available right now. I'm late to the game on this first one, but I finally got around to watching Train to Busan. And
oh shit!
Oh, I seen that.
Wow, this is Anthony. You got to watch this. This is an amazing Korean zombie.
It's kind of
thriller.
fun, yeah.
And the Korean zombies are fucking frightening as fuck. It's really well done, and it's just like they're stuck on this train. The zombie epidemic is happening to them. They're watching. They turn real quick. It's fucking great. They're making a sequel, Rugs, called Peninsula that takes place 4 years later when everything's just destroyed because of the zombies, and they're still around.
Well, I'll check that out.
Yeah, Train to Busan, highly recommended. It's fucking great. And then on Amazon, this new movie came out, 7500, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He plays a pilot, and it's your basic hijack movie, but it's interesting because the camera is just in the cockpit. You are just in the cockpit of this plane the whole time. There's a monitor behind him that shows him what's right outside the door in the plane, and the plane gets hijacked, and he's got to deal with it. It's very good. It was gripping. It's a good watch. It's only an hour and a half, so it's pretty quick. That's 7500, which is the code, I believe, for hijack plane. Then on Amazon, I discovered this TV series called Counterpart that is from a few years ago, 2017 or 2019, starring J.K. Simmons. He is really good in this. He plays this guy, Howard Silk, who's a lowly guy in this weird company. He's worked there for 30 years. He doesn't know what they do. Turns out what they do, below that building is a portal to a parallel Earth. So everyone has a counterpart. They're the same DNA. They're the same person. Have the same memories.
Another show.
So then eventually the other J.K. Simmons comes over because there's an assassin that came through and they got to stop him. And so the one Howard Silk from the main world, he's very meek, has no confidence. And then he plays the other Howard Silk from the other place. And this Howard Silk is a badass, full of confidence. And it's great to see him play against himself. And then here's the weirdest thing. In the other world, in the parallel Earth, there's a fucking pandemic going on. Everybody's wearing masks. There's a flu pandemic that's killed like 1 million of them. So they're dealing with that virus while there's like a war going between. It's not bad. I've watched like 4 or 5 episodes. There's 2 seasons. And then the last thing that was a guilty pleasure that I stumbled on, new game show on Netflix called Floor is Lava. Have you guys heard of this yet? Has anybody been talking about this?
Oh, it looks like one of those American Ninja type things.
It's like Ninja Warrior.
I mean, that's a game I would play as a kid.
Yes.
But I don't know what this references now as an adult.
This is exactly what it is. It's the game you played as a kid turned into like a Ninja Warrior type game show. They have different rooms like the planetarium, the study, the bedroom. The floor is bubbling red liquid, and they've set up obstacles that you have to jump and leap and swing on, and you got to get your team through to the exit. And the show is dumb and silly, and I couldn't stop watching it. I watched all 10 episodes, and I want to do one of those rooms.
You should.
They look like so much fun. And then when people fall, they just fall into the lava and they disappear, and you don't see them come out. It's got a loud voiceover dude with some funny jokes. But if you need a break from like heady science fiction shit or heavy social justice stuff, watch Floor is Lava. You don't got to think.
Okay, I might check that out.
It's very entertaining.
What is it on?
It's on Netflix.
That TV show that counterpart reminds me of is Fringe.
Oh, Fringe is similar, but Fringe had more like sci-fi shit going on.
Yeah, but they had that whole alternate universe where you had a doppelganger.
But that came later in the show. This one, it's like it starts with it. It's obviously different, but it's good. J.K. Simmons fucking killing it. He's so
cool. I'll check that out, maybe.
He is so good. All right, well, that brings us to the end. I do have one Twitter cameo audio from ECW Queen of Extreme Francine Ruggs. You won an award. Did you know about this?
I know about it.
Do you guys want to hear this? Anthony, have you heard this?
No, no. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's have a listen. This is, of course, again, sponsored by David Mobile, Rug Boy's biggest fan.
I've won awards before.
You have. Let's see what this one's about.
Let's see what happens.
Hey there, this is the Queen of Extreme Francine from ECW, and this shout out is booked by David, and this is for the Best Gimmick Award.
Oh, Best Gimmick.
Now, there are tons of unique gimmicks out there. I mean, everybody has a gimmick, right? If you don't, then what makes you stand out from the rest? There are two people.
By the way, she is in the pool in a bikini. She's looking pretty good. She does this from her pool.
That David thinks might be worthy of the title for Best Gimmick. So those two people are the lazy but funny foul-mouthed puppet Rug Boy.
What?
And the very nice but very evil, never swearing Danhausen. Now, I kind of like you both.
Come on, Francine.
I think that both of you are spectacular at what you do.
Who's winning?
But my heart is telling me that the award for the best gimmick has to go to the lazy, funny, foul-mouthed puppet Rug Boy. Congratulations, Rug Boy.
Give me that Michael
Finally
Rips.
won something. I hope that makes you feel very special. And I hope you know that we appreciate all you do.
She appreciates you.
Danhausen, don't worry. I think you'll live.
I
think
beat you,
you'll be fine.
Danhausen. I beat you.
Just deal with your loss gracefully, but give it up for Rug Boy.
I feel I should cut a promo right now.
I think the way we settle this is a cage match, Danhausen versus Rug Boy.
Oh, shit.
In the ring.
I'll do my Macho Man Randy Savage. Be like, Danhausen.
Woo! You do one of those. Give him a little Ric Flair.
The cream rises to the top.
Would you want to watch that, Anthony? You want to see that dude Danhausen fight Rug Boy in a cage match?
What are we talking about?
I don't know.
And with that, we're going to end the show. Thanks for listening. Give us a rating at Apple Podcasts. Wherever you are, Rugs, where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Really Rug Boy.
Award-winning Rug Boy.
Yeah, the award-winning Rug Boy is on Twitter.
Check the show notes at jockandnerd.com.
I need the followers.
/334, and I'll put this cameo in the show notes so you can watch Francine give us.
My cancellation is coming soon, so just be on the lookout.
We need more people to follow Rug Boy at Really Rug Boy so we can get him on Cameo. So let's get that done, people. Everyone give him a follow and
do it.
Of course, share the show with a friend you would think that would enjoy this. Word of mouth is the best way to help us out. It's free. We're here every week. You know that. Turn us on to people and be greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
And he's the nerd.
We'll check you next time.
I fucking loved it.
That's a big fuck up right there.
This is going great.